Boom. Once again, it's on. Yes, indeed. You know where we are. Locally located here in the historical West End area. And I'm thankful to be here, man. It's a real community, you know what I'm saying, with real brotherhood and fellowship, you know what I'm saying. We can really come together and build on some things and, figure this thing out to what's really real and what's really not, you know. So I'm thankful to be here. You know, I'm Ross Isis, and I'm here with my brethren.
Jeff.
Raskara.
Yes, indeed. And it's gonna be some hot topics here today. Cause where we going with this one? This one here is just a blast into a reality check. This one here, because we gotta realize there's a group of people who travel the earth and claim things, and after they claim things, they start to rename things.
Correct.
You know, and then they go on like it's their thing.
Yeah.
There's a
That's
certain
right.
group of people. This is what they do.
Right.
So we call this when they claimed it and renamed it.
Hot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go into it. Def, what you got to say about this, my brother?
Man. We gonna go into it, even though I feel like it's self-explanatory. I mean, because they rightfully own nothing.
True.
You know what I'm saying? They done claimed everything and renamed it.
Hot.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Man, and we were just talking earlier about how you don't hear it as much as you should, but you really just hear about people speaking on what was Africa called before,
Yeah.
Africana
Right. True,
conquered
true.
and
Ethiopia,
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But like me and you talking, it just hit me one day. I'm like, I never hear nobody talk about what was America before America.
Truly.
You know what I'm saying?
Truly.
Yeah, like, but we can see how it's all about design.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
It's true.
Because
It's super well designed.
it's almost like they know they can't really claim Africa.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
true.
and they don't want to claim the rock they come from.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? They don't want to claim the Caucasus Mountain. So, we're going to just claim America. We're going to act like America was always
Right.
us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, man.
That is so true.
Europe.
For real.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because, our ancestors were the original people. There's nothing before them.
Mhm. Truly.
You feel what I'm saying? There's nothing before them.
Mhm.
And they go back further than they like to acknowledge.
Truth to lies.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So,
Yes, indeed.
with that being said, you can't get in front of something, in front of a people that was before you.
Nowhere. That's
You know what I'm saying? You
that's true.
can't.
So,
So,
it's so real.
yeah.
Yeah, because the society make them think that these people are the original people, and we're just another generation of people.
Right.
We don't
Right.
trace our ancestral history back to the rock, to the foundation of Earth, which is
Yeah.
Africa, Ethiopia, the motherland.
Right.
That's what it's always been, the motherland. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Why would it be the motherland?
Exactly.
Because
It's self-explanatory. Yeah. Yeah.
It had to birth something.
Right.
So it birthed all. It birthed everything. You know what I'm saying? Now it got broke off and through time, but it's still that same solid rock.
Right.
That foundation. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? You just made me think about something when you saying that
Mhm.
the motherland.
Mhm.
By design, women have been like really tore down.
Mhm.
And where they're supposed to sit righteously,
Mhm.
it's like that seat has been erased.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Red hot.
because if you think about like what you were just saying, you ain't never heard nobody say the fatherland, father nature, or you get what I'm saying?
No.
And we are of the earth.
True,
We are of the planet. We are like some kind of a replica of the planet. You feel what I'm saying?
Truly.
So none of us sitting here can birth anything.
Right.
We can contribute to it,
Right, truly.
but we can't really produce life.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? But the planet does, just like the woman does. And going back to still claiming it and renaming it,
Right.
when you go back to Ethiopia, Egypt, all these places where they have certain things engraved still to this day
True.
in the wall, it's evident that our people acknowledged a goddess as well as a god. It wasn't just God. It was a god and a goddess.
True, always. Yes, indeed. It's a balance.
But then you had a man to come along, or these men to come along, that already didn't really care that much about women. They really was liking each other more
Red
than
hot.
the women. You feel what I'm saying?
It's true.
So it makes sense that they would assassinate the woman when they putting down their perception and their version of religion and what things supposed to be.
Truly.
So you're gonna assassinate the woman. It's just like in the Bible. Excuse my French, but all through the Bible, the woman is the fuck up.
Right, that's how they want to portray it.
Right, exactly. You feel what I'm saying? From the beginning to the end. They tell you that she the reason all this is messed up to begin with. Because she ate the apple and told him to eat the apple. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah, they try to-
And why this is so deep to me is because nobody's in church more than the woman. You feel what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Seem like she ought to feel a certain way.
Right.
The women ought to feel a certain way about this teaching.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that's what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's something else. They done went in our pyramids and our tombs and stuff and took these things that were documented and renamed it. You see what I'm saying?
Named it. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's just like the commandments. Y'all just broke it down to 10. It was way more than that.
Right.
And in the tombs where they was at, it wasn't that they were really commandments. It was notes saying that I have not stolen. I have not cheated. I have not this and that. You see what I'm saying?
Right. That's true themselves. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And you took these and broke it down and made a commandment. Now, not that that was a bad idea, but you stole something, claimed it, and renamed it. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Gave yourself props for this.
For real. Yes,
Instead of admitting that people of color already put this down. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Already. Well, you know, they claimed and renamed healthcare, you know, with Obamacare.
Fire.
You know,
Yeah.
when it really came from the Black Panther Party.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was the Feed the Children program. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It was a breakfast program, you know, that it started with. But basically it was a straight healthcare program that was the beginning of black people health care and saving themselves.
Right.
So they came and renamed that, you know, and they go on because, see, the thing is now, what we got to realize is that we're the creators of all things. Everything you see, we created it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They just come and rename it and claim it.
Right.
Because, you know, the phone was created by the black man.
Right.
The cell phone was created by the black man.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Sampson.
Right.
Henry Sampson created the black cell phone, which is the black phone, which we all got right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black phone.
So he created the black phone that people walk around with, right? And then his name is Henry Sampson. Then you got a company named Samsung.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, right?
Yeah.
They reclaim that. They came and reclaimed that. They said, you know what? No, we Samsung, but we Samsung.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And it's the thing. When they claim something and rename it, they always want to make it like they made it better. Or like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they originated it. They always say like they the originator, like America.
But now, this is the thing. One thing about them.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay attention to them close enough, somewhere in everything, they tell the truth about something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you have to recognize it. You know what I'm saying?
I see it in the truth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They'll keep it real somewhere in there because, and it's almost like, if you think about it, it's hard to tell a lie without some truth.
Okay, there it is.
You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, because it has to be based on something
Yes,
that everybody can identify with, or
Sure.
that, you know what I'm saying?
That's
So,
true.
like, you know, when somebody tell you something you like, you might not be fully aware what they telling you, but they say certain things that hit you, and you like, okay, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
You like, I can
That's
see it.
true. That's true. Yes.
Well, the ultimate claim and rename is what we have to realize is witchcraft, because black people, we started dealing with the dark forces during slavery for our freedom and our retribution, because we was up against the demon. But everything start, like we say, black. So the Christianity started black. But in slavery, it was witchcraft. And so the main form of witchcraft today is pharmaceutical, because the root of pharmaceutical is pharmakia. Pharmakia is defined as using drugs, substances or chemicals as spells. And even when you study witchcraft in its origin, they use drugs. Either the sorcerer or the witch is using the drugs, or the person that is being appointed to is using the drugs.
That's true. It's always a drug involved.
So when you're dealing with these drugs, you're invoking demons.
Yeah, you know that's what Peter Tosh used to say. Peter Tosh used to say, anytime you see the white girl, she gonna come with the white girl. She always come with the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like what they do. They have to come with the drugs. But go ahead, my brother. I'm listening to them.
So when they bring the demons, what we have to recognize is that it's still the same age-old fight of good versus evil. And we, Jah chosen people, Ethiopia, Israel, we don't forgot Jah. We don't do nothing that Jah blessed us to do naturally. In reality, in his reality, organic. Everything we do now, majority as black people, Israel, Jah, Ethiopia people, we doing synthetic. Our whole life becomes synthetic. We in synthetic environments all day, eating synthetic food, wearing synthetic clothes. People got synthetic body parts,
Oh yeah, as fake as the new real.
Yeah.
and we don't do nothing natural.
Let me add something into what you just said. Along with what we forgot, it goes back to what I was just saying. There's more than one, but I'm just gonna name one that we're probably most familiar with. Like you said, how we forgot about Jah, we forgot about ISIS. You see what I'm saying?
Right, true.
And that's even further forgotten.
Right.
You see what I'm
That's
saying?
what you're
Forgetting something, but it's still there, and something being erased is two
But see,
different
when we-
things.
when
You
we
feel what I'm
say-
saying?
When we say job,
The-
the female is included when we say job. Because when we say job, we represent Jah Rastafari, His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie the First. And when he was coronated as emperor, it was the first time in history ever that the emperor had his empress, his queen, coronated as an empress as well, to represent his equal. And so that represent, the alpha and the omega, the balance, the male and the female, the night and the day. So within Jah represent the love. And the Christ is the child. You can't have the child without the immaculate conception of the man and the woman. And so when we say Jah, we're not forgetting about the female. The female is all inclusive because that's life. Jah is life, light, intelligence, and love. That's how you
Right.
in order. That's how you know that you in Jah, light and love and order, because your life is in order. You responsive to the light and positivity. You don't relate to the darkness. When you see the dark, that hurts you. That don't make you feel good. The light make you feel good. You want to run to it when you in Jah. And see, that's why we know we Jah people, because without melanin, you can't communicate with light. Melanin is how you communicate and you manipulate light, the sun. Without that, the sun is harmful to you. So Jah is not going to create nothing that's harmful to his children. So that's why we know we Israel. But now here it is, we scared to get in the sun. And who in the sun? The one who gonna risk their life getting in the sun is in the sun. And here Jah children who's supposed to be in the sun, we in the synthetic AC.
That's true.
And wonder why we stiff, why we sick, why our colon all clogged up, because we not moving, we got poor circulation. That ain't how Jah intended for us to be.
Sure.
And so the witchcraft has got us possessed. And so you got to understand that you practicing sorcery in so many different ways in your life, because they incorporated sorcery so many different ways into your life that you don't even recognize how much you a demon and how many times you're being possessed per day. The alcohol is called spirits. Okay? So now when you raise your children on Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, you lying to your children. When you lie to your children, now they don't trust you. When they don't trust you, their only source of validation is now from their peers and from mainstream society, which is going to tell them to be gay and which is going to tell them to be violent or put themselves in a situation to go to jail. And so now, if you live and trying to be in society and working all year and telling your children this fat Caucasian is the reason that they supposed to be happy, you living in a false reality. That's witchcraft. The reality is you done killed yourself all year for slave wages just so you could participate in a pagan holiday to look like everybody else. That's the reality. So once we start living in reality, then we get back to Jah. But when you start participating in these false realities, you participating in witchcraft.
So wait. So would you consider the sleepiness that's going on of witchcraft? Because Sleepy Joe's in office, right?
Hot.
And then with Sleepy Joe, don't you feel like it's a big sleep slumber going on? You don't hear nobody saying hold on. You don't hear nobody saying they woke.
Hot.
Yeah.
Everybody's so asleep. You don't hear nobody saying they woke.
Yeah. But you know that all that ties in with what we were talking about earlier. All that ties in with the vaccinations and all of this, whatever. But what I want to speak on is, especially for those that are watching.
They got to be woke now.
Yeah, right.
That's watching
but
the
if we
show
don't,
is
right,
woke,
right,
You gotta
exactly,
get thanks for that, because those are woke
right.
people. Get thanks for the woke people that's actually tuning into the show and not listening to Sleepy Joe.
But this the thing.
Yes, sir.
Like when we speak on witchcraft, we can't just leave it on that note. We have to also acknowledge the good side of it, because like you saying, we created everything. And like what he was saying about how we was using, our people been calling on their ancestors for certain assistance and for certain things, you know what I'm saying? And white people was deeming these things as
I'm glad you said that.
being evil,
Let me clarify.
or and
Let me
exactly.
clarify. I'm glad you said. Let me clarify.
Yeah.
On the root. So now I'm glad you said that because originally black people, our nature is Israel. We Christian, but through the wilderness is how we began to take on these different other traditions, even though they're all African in tradition, meaning that they all have a masculine and a feminine balance. They all have a certain manner and dialect as far as how they have a rites of passage, how they raise the children, and the level of education, and they also have a system of royalty and a system of class and status amongst themselves. Even when you see the black people living in villages and stuff, they have an organized government among themselves. That's highly sophisticated, even though it looked primitive. And so now, the original, Ifa, Yoruba, I'm Geechee Gullah. That's a healing, what we call root, where I'm from, Geechee Gullah. Now you're supposed to use it as a healing art.
Right.
And then as using it as a healing art, when you become an adept and you become a master, then you are made aware of the herbs and stuff that may be poisonous, or certain things that can be used as a detriment, but it's only to be used and reserved if needed. And so that's why you have to go through a certain ceremony before you become abreast of this information, and you have to go and master the basic principles of it before you can even be exposed to it. So just like in Christianity, it's the same thing, and that's why you see the church is the one that has the information. When the people pray and they don't have the answers, they go to the church. Even the king in the royal class go to the church. The church is the one who nominates the king because they have the wisdom of the angels. But the fallen angels is the ones who came and influenced the people, and they mixed the DNA, the genetics. So that's why we went from black people, just black people on the planet, to all of these different other people on the planet, because the fallen angels came down and mixed their genetics with black people, the primates, the Neanderthals, and the Mongoloids. So now you have all of these different type of people on the planet. And now that's just like what they're doing now. They claim and rename it. They mix the blood, and then they come back in and make a mulatto class, claim it with the mulatto class, and then rename it like the mulatto class. Now everywhere you go across the world, the light skin shade or the lighter shade is the dominant class. But it's still black people everywhere that look like us. And we always, because it's witchcraft. Because the witchcraft program you, most black people, when they walk outside, they program to see a black person like a slave master see a black person.
Yeah.
They don't see a black person like, oh, that's my brother. Oh, let me help my brother. Let me help my sister. They see it like, oh, look at this nigga. Because the programming you possess. And what you got to recognize, what they call black culture, that's redneck culture. Jumping over the broom, getting married, that's redneck culture. All this slang and all of that, what they call ebonics, that's how rednecks talk.
Well, let's speak on that. Because they claim that too.
Hot,
And they renamed that.
hot.
Yeah.
You know what they claim to rename, right? Us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know that, right?
They claimed us, right?
They
exactly.
claimed us and they renamed us,
Yeah.
Let's speak on them.
'Cause
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, they claim to rename us because right now we call black people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really no such thing as black people.
Yeah, we call black people. They gave us that.
Technically, yeah, there's really no such thing as black people.
Oh.
Every race of people are connected to a land.
Yes, indeed.
So, if you say, where Chinese people from? They're from China.
True.
Where Japanese from? Japan. Koreans, Korea. Where black people from? Ain't no land called black.
Hot. So they can't fly to black.
Right.
They can't book a flight right now and go to black.
Wakanda.
Mm-mm.
That's where it's at.
No, you have to
The Black
acknowledge.
Panther,
You have to
the
acknowledge
Black
that.
Panther is at Wakanda, so that must be what they're talking about.
Oh yeah. But you get what I'm saying. So you have to acknowledge yourself as being African. You feel what I'm saying? Or
They claim to rename that.
you're native.
They claim to rename that, not the country.
Right.
The Black Panther.
Yeah, right.
It was a Black Panther party.
Mm-hmm.
They claimed to rename that, made it a movie, right?
Right,
Now
right.
Marvel getting
yeah.
the money.
Yeah.
The pedophile.
Matter of fact, we were throwing up the X and everything, wearing afros and everything.
Yeah, right.
You see me that
Pedophile.
picture?
Yeah.
Big afro.
Yeah.
Human
Yeah, claimed and
traffickers.
renamed it.
Right. And it's going back to that
Right.
with America, which I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right, but it was Anawara before it was America. So
See you there.
those of us that are native,
True.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We would be what? Anawarians. Because, you know, when we was growing up, the pictures they showed us of what the Indians looked like, those were actually, that was just the product of white people mixing with us. You see what I'm saying? The original Cherokees, all the different tribes, they were black. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So,
Right, man.
so even aside of Africa, Anawara is ours.
True. That's it.
They just took it and renamed it. And the thing is, it's almost like they gave it to people that didn't even exist. Just to keep from giving it to us.
Right.
Well, the other thing is you got to recognize how much witchcraft you practicing every day. So the best way to do is get into your Bible and read the Psalms, because the Psalms is gonna keep you. Psalm a day gonna keep the witchcraft away.
Devil away, yes sir.
Because you call your children kids, that's a sacrificial goat for a ceremony. And you know the human trafficking is the number one trade on the damn world. And they taking the blood from the little children, adrenochrome,
Right.
they feeding the reptilian fallen angels, the blood of the children. And the movie They Live is a documentary, because what we got to recognize is that the witchcraft has summoned the demon outside of the fallen angels, which is artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence is from another dimension. That's why it needs quantum computing. Quantum computing is computing that accesses different dimensions. It's a high level of sorcery, to where what they call science and what they call the pharmaceutical industry is high level sorcery. And so now you have CERN. CERN opens up portals through time and through dimensions to where they can bring into demons into this dimension. And over here they had the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia experiments, where they also been summoning demons, because after the World War II, with Operation Paperclip, everybody know they went and got the Nazi NASA scientists. The Nazi scientists became NASA. And so it's extreme witchcraft going on from NASA all the way down to the Vatican. The Vatican is the ultimate Sith Lord. You know, Darth Vader uncle. The Vatican means worship of the serpent.
Speaking of the serpent, going back to pharmaceutical companies. What's the logo for pharmaceuticals? You got two snakes.
Two snakes.
You were asking me to trust that?
Right.
This is your logo.
For real. Straight there.
That right there goes along with what you were saying. We have to be under spell to go for that.
Right. I have to.
Then you gotta recognize the bloodlust. That's witchcraft and sorcery. You eat the meat. See, when you just eat meat and blood is synthetic meat, most of the meat you're eating, and it got chemicals in it.
Yeah.
Anytime you have chemicals
FDA approved that.
in something that's synthetic, that means that it's a spell being put on you. That's the definition of a spell, when they alter your natural consciousness and put you under a different reality. You under a spell.
Yeah.
Meaning that in your right mind, you wouldn't go for certain things. But under this spell,
This spell.
Right.
This is the spell.
Hey,
The spell is
go ahead.
what they call the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is what the spell is, you know? The Mandela effect is because Mandela was free from prison after serving 27 years in prison, right?
Mhm.
He survived it. He came out, became president of South Africa, then later came to Atlanta, did things, traveled the world. He wound up passing in like 2012 or so, right? This is what actually happened. But the Mandela effect is telling no, Mandela never came out. He never came out of prison. He died in prison. So the majority of people believes that Mandela died in prison. But those who know that Mandela didn't die in prison. He actually came out, he lived, he became president, and he lived a life before he passed on, even married again.
Yeah.
Right? These things actually happen in real time. But the Mandela effect is because the majority sees it that he did pass in prison and die. That's what really they're pushing forward, you see?
Yeah.
So that's the Mandela effect. So even though what is real, just because they're not publicizing it, you don't think it doesn't have to be real.
Right.
Everyone goes with the narrative. So that's what's going on. So they created that Mandela effect. So just like with the whole agenda thing, that's pretty much the agenda.
Yeah.
Is to change the mindset of how people think and see things.
Now,
Right.
now,
Like-
this,
You know-
now this the mindset that they changing, that you got to recognize.
Mhm.
That the whole purpose of the witchcraft
Mhm.
is to disconnect you from Jah. Your
True.
power is in Jah.
Oh, right, truth is
So
right.
when you going out and you calling these different names and not calling on Jah, and when you going out and you do participating in all of these spells,
Mhm.
instead of just participating in reading your Bible, reading your Psalms and your Revelations,
Mhm.
your Isaiah, your Solomons, and you can see what's going on. And then you got to get deeper than the Bible, because the King James version don't tell you that the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon had a son named Menelik.
Mhm.
And that's how the Ark of the Covenant moved from Jerusalem to the New Jerusalem,
Which is Ethiopia.
Ethiopia,
Yes, sir.
Axum.
Mhm.
And so now, if you knew that when you was growing up in Christianity, then you could see your direct connection as Israel, Jah chosen people, because when you go to Ethiopia, ain't nothing but black people over there. And they never been conquered by the Caucasian.
True, never.
So now, if you read the Bible and it tell you, okay, King Solomon, David, Queen of Sheba, Menelik, Ethiopia, and then you grow up and you go to Ethiopia. But see, what they did, rename it, make you think Ethiopia over there starving. They ain't tell you it's a whole emperor over there, Ethiopia.
Mhm. A whole empire.
A whole empire that funded and started everything black in the whole world.
Because you only got two empires, you know. You got the Roman Empire, and you have the Ethiopian Empire.
Right.
Those are two empires on the planet, you know what I mean? But they don't tell you about the Ethiopian Empire,
Right.
They rename it.
Yeah, right.
right?
But look, I want to say this before, because I wanted to hit this while we was there, before we got too far away from it, when
True.
you was kept speaking on synthetic things.
Mhm.
It's important to know that they passed a law that says if your body contains synthetic things, you can be owned.
That's true. They were patting on you.
Yeah.
So even if you go to the hospital and you get something injected in you that's patented,
Right.
that's the same way they did the vegetables. Now they doing human beings like that.
Mhm.
They did the GMO vegetables,
Truth and right.
so now they patent that. So even if you growing your whole vegetables, if that pollen from the GMO pollinate yours,
Yeah.
they can come take your crops
Right.
because they got the patent.
Right.
So now that you come from your mom and your daddy, but you went and let them put a patent inside of you, now
Now you belong to whoever owns that patent.
Wow.
so you got to quit following man and get back to Jah, cause man gonna have you doing all type of stupid stuff, looking crazy. And Jah already tell you he gave you an immune system, and the best way the immune system works is if you get out in the elements, some sun, some fresh air. Don't put the mask on and breathe. That's poison.
Right.
When you breathe out, the plants
Breathe out
breathe that
carbon.
in. That's
Right.
poison.
You breathe out carbon dioxide.
So,
But the
even
breath
now,
of life is what you want to breathe in.
even now in this time, people are still wearing the mask.
Hot.
Right. And
They don't know no better.
we thinking about these things, but it's a reality still. You know, a lot of people that wearing the mask, they pretty much took the
They
shot.
under the spell.
They pretty much took the shot.
Yeah. But
If
you
you
know,
got a mask on still right
You
now,
under
you,
the
you
spell.
pretty
If you
much,
got the mask
you
on,
pretty much took
clearly
the
under the
shot.
spell.
But
You know what
look,
I'm saying?
that's a contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you took the shot, obviously you took it because you had some kind of faith in it.
Right.
What the hell you still running around with a mask on for?
True.
You under a spell.
A deep spell by Sleepy Joe. So what about Sleepy Joe's spell?
Sleepy Joe
Because again,
is not even Sleepy Joe.
I'm trying to say, but you know, remember when he came president, they called him Moneybag Joe.
He just fell off
Yeah,
a bike.
Remember that?
yeah,
anybody
yeah,
remember?
yeah.
Anybody remember they was called the Moneybag Joe?
Yeah.
Moneybag Joe just fell off a bike for
Yeah.
no reason.
But-
And ain't gave nobody
burst,
nothing.
and
But
burst
on
his
top
head.
of that, the man is still pushing out billions of dollars
For
a
everybody
month
else.
to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Right? A month, you know, he pushing out. I told you, he said he gave them $80 billion in reparation fund. Remember his reason on that?
Yeah.
Give thanks. So now, after the $80 billion, every month he's still pushing them billions of dollars every month till they get on their feet. This is what's going on.
And
Are
we
we-
can't get one acorn.
Are we on our feet?
Our 4
Right.
acres and a mule.
Did we- anybody on their feet?
The reason why that's important, what you saying.
Laugh.
The reason why that's important, what you saying, is because I don't think nobody was going as hard for Joe than black people.
That's
And
they-
look what happened.
Okay, you see
Y'all
what
was
happened?
under the
Yeah.
spell.
But they sleepy
Y'all
right now.
fell for the spell.
They sleepy right now.
The
they
first time in
they
the
was
world
they was
a
woke.
president gave
They
y'all
was
money,
woke. You know when they was woke?
and y'all voted
Here when they
against
was
it.
woke. Here when they was woke. When they was going to the mailbox. Remember when they was going to the mailbox, see if a check was coming through?
Yeah.
Remember
wide
that?
awake.
They was wide awake then.
Yeah.
No check coming through. Everybody
Yeah.
sleepy.
Yeah.
Everybody don't even know to go check the mailbox right,
Right,
now.
right.
Nobody even go by the mailbox right now.
But not
Who at the
just that.
mailbox?
It's
Nobody.
getting
Not just that, during the
Mailbox
election,
parked up and nobody at the mailbox.
During
Go check your
election,
mail.
Everybody was loud.
No check there. Wait,
He got
but
in,
do you
and
remember?
they
Hold
did
on.
nothing.
Now, let me
Hold
tell
on.
you-
Do you
now,
remember?
let me
Do you
tell you
hold
why.
on? Listen. Wait 1 second. Do you remember? Because most people forgot. Do you remember when people were saying that Joe was gonna cut another check?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That thing that wiped out. Nobody went to the mailbox. Checked
Gas
no
price
mailbox. They said Joe was gonna cut another check. They
Gas
was calling
gone
Money
high.
Back Joe. He was gonna cut a check. Everything gonna be all right, right? They was happy. They was dancing in the street, right?
Yeah.
We got rid of this man and we got Joe up in there, right? So now
Yeah.
hold on now. So Joe been in there since they've been sleeping. He been rising up the prices of everything as they sleep, right?
Yeah.
So the time you go to sleep and wake up, the gas price done went up
Huh?
$1.50,
Yeah.
right? Joe said he gonna take off 18 cents. What is 18 cents on
Right,
$7?
Right.
That's a spell.
Right?
Look,
Now this
Nobody
this,
said
this,
nothing.
Now, this the other
Right.
thing you
No.
gotta recognize.
See, he got in there and did the whole opposite of what they was anticipating. So that's why everybody's quiet now.
Because they went out and voted for him.
Yeah,
This what you gotta recognize. It goes back to sorcery again. Now, when you're dealing with sorcery in the black community, you referring to the Freemasons, the Eastern Stars, the fraternities, and the sororities. Now, of course, everybody in them organizations don't understand that they're dealing with witchcraft and sorcery, but the ones that are adept and the more experienced, of course, they know exactly what they're doing. And if you look at, positions in society and government and stuff like that, all of them are associated with one of these organizations, especially black people, which is called the Boule. They are the ones every election season putting the spell out there for Democrats.
True.
But if you know better, you know the Democrats was the one that was racist from the beginning. So it just go to show that when you under the spell, your ignorance belies you. You look so ignorant to the person that is connected to Jah, that's connected to intelligence. Not just following what man say, but intelligent enough to say, no, let me go see for myself and see if Jah bless that. Let me read the Bible and see if that aligns with the Bible and what I read, not what man say.
Right.
Because if you do what man say, you're going to be under the spell, and the spell going to have you looking crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let me say something to go along with that. Because outside of the sorcery, you also have to be able to recognize rituals. Because a lot of people are witnessing and performing rituals
That's
and not
sorcery.
even aware. But I'm saying not. Well, yeah, it's still connected. But I'm just saying. But it's still two different acts. Like
Right.
it's just like
Right.
Indians doing the rain dance for rain.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
True. I see what you're saying.
So you can be performing a ritual and you don't even know what you calling on.
That's so real.
You feel what I'm saying?
No doubt.
A lot of times when we watching these award shows, going to what you were saying about Eastern Stars and Masons and this and that, a lot of these entertainers are involved with that. And what we see as a bomb-ass performance was actually a ritual.
True. I'm with you.
But you don't know what you're looking at, so you don't recognize it. You ain't even think like me when I didn't even know about certain things. My mind used to just question things though. Like, what was the purpose of that?
Right.
What was the purpose of this being on the stage? Or even when I used to watch certain
I'm glad you
videos,
said that.
I used to always notice that skull. It'd be so out of place.
Now, this the other
What does
thing-
that got
this
to
the
do with
other thing, too.
anything?
I was about to say too about the AI. Now the main thing with the AI right now is what's called the humanoid robot. The humanoid robot is basically a clone, but a clone isn't active unless it has a soul, a clone from somebody else that's a real soul, or they have AI within inside of it. But not the regular AI where you program a computer, but what they call the new general deep mind AI, the quantum computing AI. And so now, just like the movie They Live, they have humanoid clones stepping into places of people that's in high positions. So you think you see in a Sleepy Joe, but no. Because if you look at the pictures of Sleepy Joe just 2-3 years ago and look at what's supposed to be Sleepy Joe now, you see the same. Just like with Gucci Mane. You know, just like the favorite artists, people that get positioned, they swapped him out with the artificial android humanoid robot. You see? And so now they have, the fallen angels have a reptilian reptoid that's also influenced with the artificial intelligence. So what they telling you that's aliens is really just fallen angels mixed with different species induced with artificial intelligence. So that's why you just have to stay focused on Jah, keep it simple, because everything else is going to have you looking crazy because it's not real. They got us, we not even in, our society is not even in the real experience of technology and time. They have us preserved in a time capsule like cattle.
Man, I gotta seal this one up, man. But I wanna say to the people, you know, especially my people, you know, like I said, they claimed us and renamed us, you know.
Hot.
I want us to really just know who we truly are, you know.
Yeah.
As Ethiopian, as a nation of people who comes from a land, because if you say Ethiopia, you're still saying black people, right? There's no difference between Ethiopia and black
Yeah.
people, because
Right.
black people are Ethiopian,
Right.
Ethiopians are black people.
The only
Right.
thing about it is
Mhm.
they just got us to where we're not claiming
Mhm.
Ethiopia. We're not claiming to be Ethiopians.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? We rather say black than when we really need to let that go.
Let it go
And
because
just say,
that's something they named us.
I'm
They named
Ethiopian.
us because we can't fly
Or
to
I'm
black.
Or
There's
I'm
no
a-
flight leaving tomorrow, next day, going to black.
Right.
Right,
You
because Kush
understand?
means land of black, Kemet means land of black,
Right.
Ethiopia means
Yeah.
black, so
Right.
you just claim black. But
So-
say its original name, not the reclaim, not the new name.
Right.
All
Right.
right,
The
so
rename.
it's
Right.
just really the time for us to really get black to what's real. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna get black, let's get black to what's real.
Give
You
them
know what I'm
back all
saying?
their
Because
sorcery and their
again,
witchcraft.
we gotta realize that we gotta get black to what's real by letting go everything that's fake. We gotta stop listening to things fake. We gotta stop eating things fake.
Hot.
We gotta stop watching fake stuff. You understand? We gotta stop wearing fake stuff. Right? That's a big one. Stop
Yeah.
wearing fake stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, get comfortable with the real stuff. again. Get comfortable with the real stuff again. That's how we gonna survive this thing. We can't survive this thing depending on all this fake stuff.
Hot.
Doing all the fake stuff we're doing right now. Let's get back to what's real, you know? And we tuning in, and now we tuning out to this episode of what? The
Think
Think
Champs.
Champs. One love, y'all.
Hell up.